Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam, our Bhagavat Sanga. The last time, if you remember, we were speaking how after Krishna saved Parikshit from the womb, we'll hear now a little bit more about that. Queen Kunti came and she offered very beautiful prayers to Krishna, and she was explaining how to be materially opulent actually is disadvantage for advancement in spiritual life, unless you are spiritually very enlightened, very high. And she was also explaining how she doesn't want anything else than to remember Krishna. And if this would mean that she will have difficulties in life, she doesn't have problem with this. The question is to be always to be able to remember Krishna. And then there was a very beautiful prayer when Queen Kunti was saying, the way how the river Ganges always flows towards the sea, I would like my mind always to flow in this way towards you and never to be deviated anywhere else. So some very beautiful and meaningful prayers. And then we said that Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was in depression and nobody could help him to come out of the depression, even Krishna, even Vyasadeva and other great sages. That's why he has to go to Bhishmadev and get the special instructions from him. So these are very also meaningful verses and instructions. We won't go through them because they are rather quite philosophical, but basically they are explaining our two kinds of duties in this world. Hare Krishna. So two kinds of duties in this world. One is our spiritual duty, which is to render service to God, and the other is our material duty, which is according to our psychophysical nature, according to the nature of our mind and according to the nature of our body. Certain set of duties and rights are given to us. And if one acts properly according to these two, he will be happy in this material world. And so on and so on. He describes again the nature of Krishna, and he expresses his desire that he doesn't want anything else but to see Krishna at the time of death. Bhishmadev, he was very special personality, and he was specially blessed. He could leave his body whenever he likes. That was one special blessing. So he himself chose the moment when he will leave his body. Although he was lying on the ground for many, many days and his whole body was pierced by like hundreds of arrows, he was not leaving this world. And they say there is the northern path of the sun and southern path of the sun. Northern path of the sun starts from Makara Sankranti, which is generally like middle of January. So he waited this moment to come because it is said that when someone who knows Brahman or is self-realized leave this world after the sun starts going north, actually this is very beneficial to achieve spiritual perfection. So he was waiting for this moment. And most important, he was waiting Krishna to appear in front of his eyes. So then he left this world. Then what happened after that? Krishna went back to Dvaraka. Then we have a beautiful descriptions of Dvaraka, which are very meaningful. Why? Because Dvaraka is non-different from the spiritual world. This description of the spiritual world here on this planet. Otherwise, why Shivyasadeva is going to spend 2 chapters to describe some like mundane city? So also very important descriptions of Dvarka. We can learn many interesting things about spiritual world and relationships there, and so on and so on. We won't go in details through them. Rather, you can do this research on your own and get some very, meaningful things about the nature of the spiritual. Just with Bhakti, we were talking that nectar taste in spiritual life comes from the details. If we are reading very carefully, Devamrita Maharaj is actually saying this. If one is very carefully studying Shastra, he can get so much juice out of there, juice for our mind. Then our mind will be happy spiritually and he won't go after Maya, the pity, material sense gratification. So, okay, then Krishna goes to Dwaraka, and then in Bhagavatam it is described the birth of Emperor Parikshit, chapter 12. So then we are getting a little bit more details what actually happened in the womb when Ashwatthama released the Brahmastra. We are getting the description how Krishna at that moment entered into the womb of Uttara, and actually Parikshit Maharaj, although still in the womb, saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so how God is not bigger than a thumb, but he was extremely beautiful, with dark complexion, and his weapons, especially his club, were just surrounding him like a protection. And basically, Krishna removed the radiation from this weapon, from this Brahmastra, and then disappeared. But a very big, very deep impression actually stayed in the mind of Parikshit Maharaj. And that's why he got this name Parikshit, which means examiner. That throughout whole life, he will be looking again and again and again for this same personality, for the same person, for this same Lord that he already saw in the womb of his mother. Then Parikshit Maharaj is born, and Yudhishthira wants to know the qualities of this child. So he asked for these astrologers to come and make a chart, and they basically foretell the whole life of Parikshit Maharaj, his greatness, his amazing qualities, what will happen in the future of his life, and how he is going to leave this world, how he is going to get transcendental knowledge from Parikshit Maharaj. All these things they are already. Sorry, yes. All these things they are basically giving them this whole information, whole knowledge of Yudhishthira about his grandson. And what happens then? Then suddenly we move a little bit from the main story. After Parikshit is born, we come back to chapter 13, which describes Dhritarashtra quits home. So we had the big war, and everybody died, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra died, and still he is so attached to his position, he doesn't want to leave home. He is ready till the end of his life to stay home. Srila Prabhupada, in some of his purports, he is writing, modern politicians, they'll never leave on their own, willingly, their power, ruling power. So Dhritarashtra, in the same way, he wants just to stay home and get all the benefits from like this easy life. And he doesn't have any idea just to live, to take Vanaprastha and to invest in his spiritual development, the last years of his life. And then his brother, Vidura, comes back from a long pilgrimage and preaches very strongly through Dhritarashtra, so strongly that he's really awakened. Some of the things he's telling him is, you are, what was it? You are...
You're just like a dog living at the mercy of Bhima, who killed all
your
your
sons.
sons. And your liver is weak, your teeth are loosened, you're blind since birth. Now your hearing also is going bad. And what do you expect? It's not gonna get any better. You're gonna die soon. And still you're clinging to dear comfort, and you live at the expense of your honor. That's what he, yeah, Vidura told his brother. It doesn't defeat the kshatriya, the devotees.
So yeah, it's a very strong call to do something. And he's awakened and he just lives without saying anything to anybody.
Yeah, because if you say something, then people will try to persuade you to not to leave. So he just, and Prabhupada, in one of his purports somewhere, he says that this is the way how saintly persons they leave home. And he said that's the way I left home too. Didn't say, I didn't tell.
You broke some guy's heart doing that, didn't you? Living like that. Yeah, he broke also the hearts of the Pandavas. Because after all, he is their uncle. I mean, you want to take care of your uncle, yes. But yeah, he just left and he started performing serious tapasya together with his wife. And soon after that, he left this world and he got liberated, Bhagavatam says. So, okay, we come to a...
And also Vidura. Vidura came back from pilgrimage. He was for a long time.
He took sannyas.
Yeah, yes. So he didn't come back to the palace to enjoy kingly opulence, although he could have. And he came to preach to his brother, then he left. And then he left his body somewhere in some holy place and returned to Pitriloka because he's Yamaraj actually. So that's what we're supposed to do at the end of life. Just concentrate on direct devotional service. Maybe we won't be able to perform this severe tapasya, but what Srila Prabhupada gave us is enough as tapasya. Just chant, hear Bhagavatam, take little prasadam, and this should be enough. Associate with devotees. And prepare for the next service, the next assignment.
Kadamakrama Maharaj likes to say that one service that we are doing is simply preparation for the next one. So what we are doing now in this lifetime actually is a preparation for our next service in the next life. That's all. So yeah, these chapters, they're a little bit, we had the appearance of Krishna and his amazing activities and this and that, and now, okay, at some point, the Lila is becoming again unmanifested. So this is what is shortly described in this part of first canto of Bhagavatam. Now, Dhritarashtra is living. Then Lord Krishna leaves this world. Lord Krishna leaves. Because, okay, I accomplished my mission. I released the earth from the burden of all these demoniac kings and their huge armies. I reestablished the religious principles. I established Yudhishthira Maharaj as the ruler of the world. He is Dharmaraj, so he will definitely establish Dharma. My duty is over. Now I have to leave. And I have to take my whole dynasty with me because they are unconquerable. If I leave them, they will also create big trouble on earth. So I have to make special arrangement. And Krishna is making this arrangement. We know how they go. They perform a special, like religious yagya sacrifice, and then they drink like alcoholic drink make from rice, and they start quarreling and then fighting, and then they just kill each other, and they leave one after the other, one after the other. And then Krishna also makes special arrangement for himself also to leave this world. So Krishna lives, and then
It is interesting.
Mhm.
The Acharyas explain why the Yadavas had to live in this way. Several reasons. First, one of the reasons is that this gives a excuse for the non-devotees to it nourishes their doubts. So Krishna gives opportunity to non-devotees to think that reinforces their already uh, ill-conceived opinion that Krishna is an ordinary person and his dynasty, these are ordinary people. Krishna gives them opportunity. Okay, you want to believe this? Here, this is your pramana. I'm not gonna interfere with your independence. Yeah, you want to believe this? Here you go. The devotees, they understand the reality behind all this theatrical performance, but these non-devotees, the envious ones, okay, this is their solace. Okay, you see, Krishna is also ordinary person. Just see how he left and his family members. Another thing is that by getting rid of this, the whole Yadu dynasty, Krishna shows that all these seminal descendants of great personalities of God, for example, like Nityananda Prabhu or Dvaitacharya, or even Srila Prabhupada, they're not important. They're not so as important as the pure acceptance and following of the teachings of the Acharya. Because they would have become very proud. Of course, not really, but this is the rationale behind. The Yadavas would be very proud. I'm descendant of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. So Krishna wanted to put this way. He wanted to show you it's not the way to go. Also, Advaitacharya, he had, I think, 6 sons. 3 of them they were not devotees. They became Mayavadis. This also shows the same point.
Not just by birth.
It doesn't, like nowadays in Bengal, there are people who come to you and they say, I'm Nityananda Vamsha. Great, but it doesn't mean that you're pure devotee. Just like Prabhupada's sons, they were not very actively engaged, to say at least, in the propagating the Sankirtan mission.
Rather, making a case again is going to get some money out of this.
Yeah.
I think a couple of years ago, there was this one series on television, and they were talking a lot about Yadav dynasty. So it seems like now also those who are like from Bihar, those whoever's last name is Yadav, they feel very proud that they belong to Krishna.
It's definitely good, but it's not enough. You have to show. You have to show.
It's just like the caste system. Because I'm born in this family, that means I have to be respected. No, you have to earn the respect by developing good character, qualification, etc. Then we'll respect you. Unless you earn this respect, you get just the ordinary respect that is due to every living entity. You get nothing special. That's respect.
The pride thing, I think I heard you get correct. I mean, I don't know. It seems like pride is something that Krishna is very much always trying to like cut out. Or that the gopi dance, when he disappeared, it's because they were starting to get a little proud. He's dancing with me. Because this pride thing, it's like it really is the only thing keeping us between Krishna. It seems like a common theme that recurs all the time. Even a little bit of pride, or even to show an example. Why not to have pride? It'll make very big, elaborate arrangements.
Yeah. Pride is definitely a problem. And the interesting thing about pride is that it's so subtle that you don't understand that you're proud. You think, no, now I'm very, very humble. Actually, I'm
The most humble.
humility personified.
I'm the most humble.
And then the next moment something happened and actually you understand you're not humble at all.
Well,
Like the way how you're going to react in a certain situation or
you think that you are not proud, but everybody around you
understand.
feels like somebody gives lecture and he has a bit of an attitude. He doesn't see that, but all the devotees in the audience, auditory, they can smell it.
But why is it that something so obvious is so impossible to see for the person like, infected with it?
Well, these are the two functions of Maya. One is covering,
Mhm.
and the other one is throwing. So that's the meaning that we're covered by Maya. But if we're in a good association with devotees, then they will show you, they'll tell you. They'll tell you. And then if you are sane, you accept. But many times people don't even accept. They think, oh, you're saying this out of anger, you're just saying this. No, I'm your friend. I'm just saying,
Helping you.
I'm trying to help you. No.
Or the other way is just go out on the street to preach to these two books and then you see what's the reality.
How
Because
humble you are.
devotees, they are like very humble and gentle and they try always to say the things in a very like mild way. But people outside, they don't care. For them, you're nobody. So they'll tell you the things as they are. If they see you are proud, they'll tell you. They see you are rascal, they'll tell you. So it's really like a mirror.
Even if
Very fast you can understand.
even if you're not a rascal or whatever, they will say that you are. It's very important, especially for senior devotees who are in the movement for 20, 30 plus years. And sometimes it happens that they receive this adoration and like worship from the juniors, and they start to think that, okay, I'm somebody special. So especially for them, it is very good to go out and to distribute books, for example, and to engage with the public, people who will not treat them according to the Vaishnava etiquette. And then they will, our friend Navya Nirla Prabhu says that this is a reality check. Because otherwise you're used to people just worship you. Oh, please, Prabhu, sit on the Vyasasan, give the lecture. And you may start living a dream world. You're not the person that you think you are. And then people on the street, they'll let you know. So it's good. It's actually, I think it's a necessity. That's at least this my
It's
own
something like
experience.
every morning you have to take shower and then you know, okay, now I'm clean. So this is something like a part of the spiritual keeping clean yourself.
I never
Go
ever-
out and see the reality.
It's like
Hare
security.
Mhm.
Security. Because a lot of people are, even if you're the nicest person, if you're someone who's done so much, if they don't know, they'll treat you how they treat anybody else that they don't know.
But that's what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada was personally selling BTGs and Bhagavatam on the street, both in India and here in India. Oh, he did it. He was facing the public directly. He was not just somebody who I'm preaching only to devotees because devotees are nice, they are respected. No. Prabhupada was doing the whole thing.
And it's actually very encouraging when you see that someone is very senior devotee, but he doesn't have the actually materialistic idea, because this is a materialistic idea that because now I'm already senior devotee, I'm not a servant anymore. Now I became a master. This is a materialistic idea. In the spiritual sense, you never become a master. You always stay a servant. So it's very encouraging, very inspiring when you see some very, very senior devotee who's actually very mature. And because he's very mature, although very senior, he really keeps the idea again and again and again that, wait a minute, I'm a servant, I have to serve. So he doesn't have a problem sometimes to be engaged in a menial service. He doesn't have a problem going and serving prasadam to the
Like
devotees.
today, our TP and our film president, not only today, like
Many
almost every
times.
day,
Yeah, Hamsa
he's serving prasadam. You see,
so many important things for him to do.
maybe I shouldn't say.
So many important things to do. And he takes out of his time and he goes and he serves prasadam to the devotees. And at the end, I told him, Prabhu, now you take prasadam. He said, just to taste. And he just took like really so little from everything just to taste. So it's very actually inspiring to see this example because you understand, practically this person, he considers himself a servant. Otherwise, why he's going to do it? That means he really is in this consciousness.
Otherwise, as we said, there's the danger. There are these levels of bhakti, starting from Shraddha and then Sadhu Sangha. Yeah, everybody's aware of this. And then Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya means that you have initiation already and you engage in devotional service. And Bhajana Kriya is has two stages. One is called Anishtita Bhajana Kriya. And that means your service is interrupted because of anarthas.
What does it mean? Interrupted because of anarthas?
It means that you cannot perform bhakti all the time because you want to do some nonsense from time to time. You just cannot.
So you
cannot help
go,
yourself.
you engage very nicely.
For 1-2 hours, and then just the mind goes.
Or 1 day,
berserk.
or 2 days, or 2 months. But
Yeah,
then
but
suddenly
this-
your mind is telling you, oh, now we have something more
Okay,
important.
finally, right now it's my time. And there are 6.
And then after a few days, you figure it out. Oh, wait a minute. No, actually, it's not this. It's about bhakti. Let me go back.
Yeah.
And again, one month, you are very enthusiastic. And then 2 weeks again, you disappear somewhere. Nobody knows where are you and what are you doing. But you're doing something very important, but it's not bhakti. And then you come back again. So this is interrupted devotion.
You mean they leave? Because I mean, I feel like you can be interrupted in your mind too, where you're doing service and then you start thinking all these nonsense thoughts.
Also.
This is the mild version, but sometimes the mild version goes into growth. And there are 6 levels of this, or types of this Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, or unsteady devotional service. They are described by the acharyas. And if you manage to become steady in your bhakti, that means you go through all of these 5 levels of unsteadiness. This is rare. Then you're really steady. Then there is the choice. Then the devotees start respecting you. It's like, imagine somebody, like I've seen such devotees, somebody went for 20 years, every day, every morning on Mangalar. Or every Kadashi chants, like today we heard 128 rounds. No, this is on Janmashtami.
Some devotee who every Janmashtami will chant 128 rounds, and then after that, he'll go out on the street and he'll distribute 128 Bhagavad Gitas. That was his vow for Janmashtami. So with Panda, we were like, that's serious. I mean, I cannot chant that many rounds. What to speak after that to go and distribute books and fast at the same time?
Yes.
These are serious, heavy people.
Some devotees, they fast on every Kadashi, they chant 180 rounds, whatever, or so many things. So the devotees, they start seeing this, that let's say you are
Advanced.
and
Actually.
this is advanced because you're steady in bhakti. So then here in this junction, there is the road goes in 2 ways. One is called what was the name? I forgot. Taranga Rangini, and the other one is called Nishta, real Nishta Bhakti. And then Nishta quickly goes to Ruchi. And then from Ruchi, it is downhill, because when you have taste, it's very easy. So the road separates. Taranga Rangini means that although you are so advanced and stable and whatever, people worship you, then the devotee starts in a subtle way to enjoy this. And From outside may look the same. He's still so stable and but he enjoys Lava Puja Pratishtha. But this is called Taranga Rangin.
What is
It's
Lava Puja
subtle.
Pratishtha?
Lava Puja Pratishtha means the distinction, adoration, and profit. These are subtle forms of lust.
Protection from that. What's the protection?
The protection.
To have friends, close friends in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Because they will see and they will.
Yeah, it can be very subtle. No, Prabhu, I'm not so. No, but actually inside, the heart rejoices. Finally, I am. This is the desire that I want to become a guru of Vaishnavas. I want to be the channel.
Especially recognized Vaishnava.
Great devotee.
I want everybody to understand that I'm better than everybody else. I'm special. I'm unique in the Vaishnava society. And yes, finally they understood. Thank you very much. I was waiting for this. This like a subtle nation.
I just want to make this point because we are talking about the same line of thought.
So then again, Dhritarashtra left, Krishna left, and now that Krishna left, Arjuna comes back because Arjuna witnessed what happened. He comes back to Yudhishthira Maharaj and he is like finished, and Yudhishthira cannot understand what's happening here. I never saw you in such a mood. Like someone managed to win over you in battle, or like what happened? Just tell me. I cannot understand what's the problem. Or maybe our Lord Krishna left this world, and then Arjuna is saying yes, Krishna left, and then Yudhishthira thinks and he says, okay, that means the time has come. They are the emperors of the world. They have unlimited power, unlimited wealth, unlimited opportunities for sense gratification. No.
And unlimited opportunities for service. No?
Yes. Also.
Because they could have said, no, why should we take Vanaprastha? We pure devotees. We can engage everything in Krishna service. Right? Connect everything to Krishna. Why should we renounce the kingdom? No, we should stay. Krishna wanted us to rule, so we should stay. No. But they didn't say that.
Because they could see that this is a sign. That was the sign. Okay. We did what we had to do. Now we gotta move. And it's one senior devotee one time he was explaining. It's very, very important in Krishna consciousness to open your eyes and to open your ears and to observe and to listen very carefully, because Krishna will give you so many signs. What you have to do, what you shouldn't do. And then if you are sincere, you see these things and you understand, okay, this is what I have to do now. This is what I have to do. And just go for it, because actually this will be the best for you and for everybody else. But sometimes we don't want to see this. Sometimes we start giving all these arguments. No, actually this is better, that is better. I shouldn't do that. Oh, let me do this. So we take the second option or the third option or the fifth option. In this case, because Pandavas, they were very, very advanced spiritually, pure devotees of Krishna, immediately they understood, okay, that was the sign. Krishna left, that means now we also have to leave. So, in the middle of the night, they also just left the kingdom. And even Draupadi, their wife, said, no, I'm coming with you. So she also left.
But they didn't ask her to come. That's the thing. Yudhishthira didn't ask his brothers to come to join him. He just left. If they want to join, fine. If not, he didn't speak with them. He didn't talk to them. Of course, there was some conversation on the way. It's described in Bhagavatam. But there was no like before. It's time to focus on Krishna and to live.
So yeah, that's like a very important lesson from us that for us that we may not literally leave our kingdom, But spiritually, definitely, we have to do
We won't leave because we don't have one.
it.
We don't have kingdom.
What means spiritually we have to live it? What do you think? What does spiritually we have to live means?
I think of what the Tirti said when leaving his body. He said, "This is the time for me to get rid of my identities. X, Y, Z is Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, your guru, and prepared to move on to the next phase."
Yes, very good. What else?
Detach.
To detach. Yes. Detach from what?
From the material, from material. From material.
She said
attachment.
material identities, material attachments. Yes.
Mhm.
Something else?
In the midst of your wonderful book, so besides the title, the whole, it's great reading too, because it's like I hear you guys, I'm sorry, I was saying it while I'm reading it, So, yeah. What's the title?
Remember me.
Right.
Remember me, right, yeah, so I think it's like the spiritual, like to remember him. Transcendental, and that cover, it looks like it's looking at you.
Want to say something? Or no. Well, yeah, basically it means we have to let go our material situation, whatever it is. We cannot fix our material situation. We are using our material situation while it is useful to render some service to Krishna and to make some spiritual advancement. But at some point, as in these examples, we just have to leave our material situation. Leave means suddenly give more priority to your spiritual life and your spiritual goals, and leave material on the second plan. And traditionally in the Vedic system, this will be called Vanaprastha. Because Vanaprastha is about that. Grihastha life is material is first, and you are trying to find time in between the material to make something spiritual. So you are constantly increasing your material opportunities, your material needs. Okay, we have one house, so we need a second one to go in the summer there. We have one car, we need the second one. We have one kid, we need 5 more. It's all about expansion, which is no problem if you're Krishna conscious. But then the time comes when you have to reverse these things. Now you start decrease your material needs, your material possessions. In this way, your mind will become free. The mind will have more time to think about Krishna and less about material things. If you're working 14 hours a day, when is the time to think about Krishna? It's very difficult because you work, and at the end of the work, actually, your boss, he doesn't just took whatever your skills or your abilities. He took your energy. He's paying you for your energy. So after 14 hours of work, you don't have energy left. So now you have to go and recharge, but the next morning, again, you have to go to work. And at the end of the day, again, you're paid for your energy, but you don't have energy anymore. So when is the time to think about Krishna? It's very difficult, very difficult. Of course, devotees, they
Navigate.
find their ways to combine these two, as Srila Prabhupada said many times, to get the best use of the bad bargain. So they are kind of becoming experts in this. And still, it is recommended that at some point, when one becomes whatever, 50 something, he start going other way around. Until now, it was okay, all building about material facilities and opportunities and this and that. Now, just live about all these things. Now I'm going to do only just to maintain my life. Srila Prabhupada is saying, maintain my soul and the body together so that I can think about Krishna, so that I can engage in devotional service. So this is what is described in these chapters. This moment should come at some point. And then Pandava, they leave, and then suddenly nobody is there anymore. Only Parikshit Maharaj. Yes.
Parvana for us, like, Vaishesha people, it's not as extreme. They're vanaprasthas, they just kind of go off and, leave their body. Ours, it's like instead they go and they preach with their spouse.
Yes.
Do yatras and things.
Vanaprastha doesn't mean to go to die. I mean, in the case of the Kshatriyas, this is what means sometimes, because Kshatriyas are very extreme people. They are not into balanced lifestyle. Kshatriya and balance doesn't go well together. Kshatriya means he says something and that's it. He's ready, like Arjuna. Either tomorrow I'm going to kill, what was his name? The person who actually,
Jadra.
Jadrata, the person who stopped the Pandavas when they were trying to protect Abhimanyu. And because of him, actually, they killed Abhimanyu. So Arjuna became so angry, he said, either tomorrow I'll kill him, or I'm going to enter the fire. There is no balanced situation. Prabhu. Let's balance the situation. Kshatriyas are not people who are balancing. They are extreme, heavy people. That's why they can do things. They're not about talking. Brahmanas are about talking. Oh, what about this idea? What about that idea? Oh, that very nice, this very nice. Of course, they are very extreme in tapasya, but in a practical sense, they are not so extreme. They're kind of balanced. But kshatriyas, when it comes to practical stuff, they can be very
Like fire.
like you can see sometimes managers, people who have kind of a managerial nature, they have like very little this. They're like this or that. There is no let's balance. No, they say something, okay, this is what should happen. That's it. A little bit, you can feel this bhava, the kshatriya bhava.
Would that mean that is their passion? They're passionate, very passionate, or that?
They are very passionate, extremely passionate. It is said, one senior devotee said, are you kshatriya? You cannot watch him in the eyes. His fire is so burning, like you are watching an angry bull. You cannot just stand and watch him. That immediately you have to move your glance. So fiery, so. But the point was that, yes, what you said, in our case, it generally means, as we said, decrease your material engagement and increase your spiritual activities. Read more, chant more, go more to places where you can spend more time with the devotees. Increase your service opportunities. Let's say you are full-fledged family person and you have so many responsibilities, and you come once in a week in the temple for 3 hours. That's your very active spiritual life. And of course, at home, you offer your food, you take care of whatever you have deities. But then suddenly you decide, okay, now let me increase this. Instead of 1 day in a week, I'll go 3 days to the temple and I'll spend the whole morning program with the devotees. And then I'll come home and I'll do this, I'll do that. And then after whatever, another few years, you actually spend 5 days in the temple. So like that, gradually more and more you increase your spiritual engagement. Then you start spending a long time in the holy dham, like our Pancharatna Prabhu and his good wife. They are a good example of vanaprasthas. I mean, they live still together, but the biggest part of their life they spent in the dham, when they are from morning till evening engaged in spiritual activities, and the rest they live in the temple. So again, practically they are engaged whole day in activities, and from time to time, okay, we gotta go to visit one grandson, he has a birthday, so okay, they'll live for 2 days, then they'll come back. Then after 2 months, they'll say, oh, whoever, we have to go to this event. So they are a little bit still engaged in something, but practically almost their whole life is direct devotional service to Krishna. So in this way, move more to the direct service of Krishna. That's the idea. That okay? So yeah, Pandavas left, Krishna left, and Parikshit becomes the next emperor of the world. And now Parikshit gradually starts seeing how different symptoms of Kali starts appearing because Krishna left. Krishna left, that means the religious principles are living with him, knowledge is living with him, and gradually different symptoms of Kali start appearing. And now Parikshit, he decides, okay, this is an opportunity for me to show my prowess, have an emperor, have a kshatriya. And he gets his big army, goes on his chariot, and he starts going all over the world and conquering the whole earth, all the directions. And Srila Prabhupada makes the point that uh, emperor, he has to actually prove that he is an emperor at some point of his rulership. So it's not just enough that someone says, okay, he's the next emperor. Now we have to prove it that you are the greatest. So he goes to all these different places, and actually it is described in Bhagavatam. It's not just here on our earth, we can say, or our Varsha, but he goes to the other Varshas as well, which are living human beings, which are of a higher grade. If you are not pious enough, you cannot go to these places. Although you can basically walk there, but you don't have the pious activity to do it. So they stay like a cloth, although they are on the same, how to say, same dimension. But it is said that Parikshit Maharaj, he went to all these different Varshas, and all these other great personalities there accepted him as the emperor of the whole earth. And they started paying him taxes. So he managed to do that. Like, for example, when Yudhishthira Maharaj decided to perform these huge sacrifices, he needed lots of money. And Krishna advised, he said, oh, wait a minute, there was this great king, he was just about to perform a huge sacrifice up in the Himalayas, but actually it didn't happen, but all the gold, all the preparations, they are still there. So you can just go get all this stuff and bring it here. We are going to use it for our yagya. So this is what Arjuna did. And then when he was going north, he reached the next Varsha, which is, I think,
The northern Kurus.
Northern Kurus Varsha. So when he reached, basically he had to go very, very high in the Himalayas. And at some point, these special creatures appeared and said, my dear Arjuna, from here onwards starts the Northern Kuru Varsha. So because you are a human, you don't have the right to enter here. But to show respect to Yudhishthira Maharaj, we brought all these presents, and you can tell him, we accept that he is the emperor. We don't have problem with that. So he can easily proceed and perform these huge yagis. So like that, it is said that Parikshit Maharaj also, he went all over these places, and actually he proved that he is the emperor of the world. So he was extremely powerful, extremely
Well, he was
mighty.
so powerful that he could arrest Kali. Who can arrest the personification of the age? We don't even see him. Well, that's good that we don't see him. We hope we won't never see him. But Parikshit Maharaj arrested him, and he was ready to kill him. And only because Kali was smart enough to surrender, to beg for mercy, then therefore he was spared.
And now, yes, thank you, Pandava Prabhu. Now we are just coming to this story on the pages of Bhagavatam, which is described in chapter 16 and 17. Chapter 16 is a little bit like a prelude to chapter 17. It is described how once the personification of earth in the form of a cow and personification of dharma, religious principles, in the form of a bull, they were walking around the earth. And actually the dharma, the bull, saw how the earth is very, very much depressed and said, what's your problem? Why you are in such a condition? And then actually the earth started complaining and explaining how, because Krishna left the world, now basically there are no religious principles followed anymore. And 3 of the legs are actually of religion, are nobody is following them anymore. They're missing. And she's also sad because Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was walking with his personal lotus feet on my surface. He was touching me with his feet, and now he left. And now, what I'm supposed to do, except to be sorry that this is over. And then Parikshit Maharaj, while he was walking, he saw this scene. He saw how this so-called king, who was actually a Shudra dressed as a king, was torturing the religious principles and the earth. So in other words, in the age of Kali, the age of Kali is torturing the earth, what's happening on earth, and is torturing the religious principles. So he saw this. And now actually we'll go in a little bit in depth in this story. I don't think we'll be able to finish, rather we'll just start, and next time we can discuss more, because it's a very important pastime, very practically important for us, because we are living in the age of Kali, so we can see what are the weaknesses, what are the strong sides of this age of Kali. So maybe if you like, I was thinking we can just start reading from this chapter 17. We can do like few verses each, maybe few can read 5 verses in the beginning.
Starting from text 1,
Yeah.
purports also,
Just the verses.
just the English?
Yeah, just the English.
Chapter 17, Punishment and Reward of Kali. Suta Goswami said, after reaching that place, Maharaj Parikshit observed that a lower caste Shudra, dressed like a king, was beating a cow and a bull with a club as if they had no owner. The bull was as white as a white lotus flower. He was terrified of the Shudra who was beating him, and he was so afraid that he was standing on one leg, trembling and urinating. Although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her, she was now rendered poor and calfless. Her legs were being beaten by a Shudra. There were tears in her eyes, and she was distressed and weak. She was hankering after some grass in the field. Maharaj Parikshit, well equipped with arrows and bow and seated on a gold-embossed chariot, spoke to him, the Shudra, with a deep voice sounding like thunder. Oh, who are you? You appear to be strong, and yet you dare kill, within my protection, those who are helpless. By your dress, you pose yourself to be a godly man, king. But by your deeds, you are opposing the principles of the twice-born Kshatriyas. You rogue, do you dare beat an innocent cow because Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the carrier of the Gandiva bow, are out of sight? Since you are beating the innocent in a secluded place, you are considered a culprit and therefore deserve to be killed. Then he, Maharaj Parikshit, asked the bull, oh, who are you? Are you a bull as white as a white lotus, or are you a demigod? You have lost 3 of your legs and are moving on only one. Are you some demigod causing us grief in the form of a bull? Now, for the first time in a kingdom well protected by the arms of the kings of the Kuru dynasty, I see you grieving with tears in your eyes. Up till now, no one on earth has ever shed tears because of royal negligence. O son of Surabhi, you need lament no longer now. There is no need to fear this low-class Shudra. And O mother cow, as long as I am living as the ruler and subduer of all envious men, there's no cause for you to cry. Everything will be good for you. O chaste one, the king's good name, duration of life, and good rebirth vanish when all kinds of living beings are terrified by miscreants in his kingdom. It is certainly the prime duty of the king to subdue first the sufferings of those who suffer. Therefore, I must kill this most wretched man because he is violent against other living beings.
So
Can you-
there was no discussion. The king decided that this person deserves to be killed. And there's no any procrastination. There's no procedure. Oh, we didn't follow the proper procedure. The king decided.
No politics.
Oh,
Just to mention a few things from the purports. Sri Prabhupada is saying, the principal sign of the age of Kali is that lower caste Shudras, men without Brahminical culture and spiritual initiation, will be dressed like administrators or kings, and the principal business of such non-Kshatriya rulers will be to kill the innocent animals, especially the cows and the bulls, who shall be unprotected by their masters, the bona fide Vaishyas and mercantile community. So this is, we are seeing it happening really like. Anatol Prabhu, the other day, he gave this horrible statistic that every year are killed 92 billion animals. Can you imagine? 92 billion animals. So this is a sign of age of Kali. Because in one of the verses, Parikshit Maharaj said, until now, nobody heard that someone will come and like try to torture animals or this. So this is really the proof that, okay, Kali started. Nobody from my ancestors before had this problem. I'm the first one that I have to deal with something like that. So it was practically really unheard, something like that, yes.
The one leg is truthfulness and the other three gone are cleanliness, mercy, and austerity.
Yes, these are the four legs of the religion. And then Sri Prabhupada said, the next symptom of the age of Kali is that principles of religion, which are all spotlessly white, like the white lotus flower, will be attacked by the uncultured Shudra population of the age. They may be descendants of Brahmana or Kshatriya forefathers, but in the age of Kali, for want of sufficient education and culture of Vedic wisdom, such a Shudra-like population will defy the principles of religion, and persons who are religiously endowed with will be terrified by such men. So the degradation of the population begins. People, as Pandava was saying, people may be born in the family of Brahmanas or Kshatriyas, but actually they don't possess the qualities. They don't act as such. But they want to take the credit. Say, oh, I'm born in the Yadu family, I'm born in Advaita Charya family. But actually, when you see how they are acting, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense. Like, for example, in India, we have a big problem. Sometimes devotees, they want to enter some temple, and the priests, they come and they say, you're not qualified because you are Mlecha, you are coming from the West. You are, although devotees, they are practically living as a Brahmanas and even higher than Brahmanas. But they say, no, you cannot enter here because you are contaminated, you are dirty, you are this, you are that. So they act in a very rude way. Very often with the devotees, they don't allow them to enter these temples. But which is even more amazing is that the next moment, the same priests, they go to these same contaminated people and tell them, can you give donation for the temple? So, and Prabhupada said, well, if you are contaminated, that means your money are contaminated. Why they are asking for your money? They are going to contaminate. So there is no really like, what is the word? Consistency between one act and the other act. So this is a symptom of Kali. And then Srila Prabhupada says, the next symptom of the age of Kali is the distressed condition of the cow. Milking the cow means drawing the principles of religion in a liquid form. Drawing the principles of religion in a liquid form. So many times Srila Prabhupada is explaining to drink milk is very, very important for developing the fine brain tissue so that you can understand the subtleties of religion. Otherwise, it's difficult. Of course, it's difficult to find a good milk nowadays, so that's really a problem. That's why if you are able to find a real milk from good quality cows, like properly protected cows, definitely we have to take this opportunity and drink. Yes, like Gita Nagari milk.
Isn't the vegan push actually in a way streamlining of the anti-cow as far as Kali Yuga? I mean, I know some people sincerely, oh, because, they have the hormones and pesticides, insecticides, whatever, from the grass they eat in their milk, but it's also an overview, like, against the cow, all this vegan push.
It's a big topic. I would say both sides, they have a strong point, because yes, if we want to drink the milk of the cow, well, then we have to protect it. That's ideally the case. So that's why ideally the solution is we should have cows, we should give them protection, and then use their milk for Krishna, and then take Mahaprasadam. This is the ideal option, and that's why wherever this is possible, we should try to support this, because it's not easy to find cows that devotees are taking care of them, and you can drink this milk, although it may be 2-3 times even more expensive. But okay, how much milk you're going to drink? How much? 1 cup a day, 2 cups a day. So what's the problem to give $2 or $3 or $5? I mean, we are giving so much money for so many other things. So what's the problem? But then also the other side, Srila Prabhupada showed and stressed that actually drinking milk is so important that even if you cannot find milk from the best source, again we have to use it. Again we have to offer to Krishna for his pleasure, and devotees should consume some milk. Senior devotees, they may say more details, but what I heard from senior devotees is that during the time of Prabhupada, actually some of the devotees, they complained that they put some strange substances in the milk, like some vitamins and this and that. Yeah, devotees make some research and they said, oh, Prabhupada, they put this, they put that. And Prabhupada said, oh, you cannot find pure? And the devotee said, no, everywhere is the same thing. Like everywhere they add some vitamin D or whatever.
Right, vitamin D, they're fortifying
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Something that's already okay.
Yeah.
the milk wasn't good enough for the past how many thousands
That's
of
why
years.
whole milk's the best.
Yeah.
And yeah, but when Srila Prabhupada found there is no other, he said, anyway, just use the best that is available. So within Kali Yuga, you try to do your best. Somehow or other, we have to go on with our service to Krishna. Yeah, the best is home milk. Like, I don't know, maybe some of you have this experience, but I was fortunate really to have this experience when now it's actually in my country is also getting more and more difficult in Bulgaria because of all the laws that are coming from European Union and this and that. But I was fortunate my whole youth, when I was teenager, I was drinking only real milk. And my mother would send me, because we had a person who was taking care of cows like 15 minutes, 20 minutes from home. And she would just give me 3 bottles and she would say, okay, go get milk. And I'll go with the money with the bottles and I'll give him empty bottles and he'll fill them with the hot milk.
Nice.
And then I'll bring it back and my mother will boil it. And then we can immediately drink some, but then we will keep it in the fridge and it will last at least 5-6 days. So basically we have a milk for 1 week. And then we will drink, or she will cook different things with the milk like that. And then next week I will go again and I'll bring it again. And that was life. And it's so tasty. This milk was so tasty. When I was like teenager and I was training, I didn't have the tolerance to take it out of the fridge and heat it and this and that. I was just taking it out, half cup, and I was drinking it cold. And it was so tasty, like ice cream.
Yeah.
Because so much cream, and actually it's sweet on its own. You don't have to make it sweet. I remember one time I was running like crazy outside, and it was very, very hot, and I was so thirsty, and I was dreaming about the milk. And I just took one cup a second, but because I drank so much cold milk, and suddenly I had some problem with my stomach. Oh, what happened? I shouldn't drink cold milk. And then little later, when I met devotees, I actually found out that actually milk, you have to drink it warm, hot, not cold. But anyway, just to make the point that not long ago, actually, these things were possible. And even nowadays, still farms exist that you can go and you can get the real deal. We have a farm in Belgium, Radadesh, and they get their milk from one farmer, a good man. And yeah, because they bring the milk in these huge pots, like 20 liters. When they leave the milk for one night, next day you have like 2-3 centimeters of cream on the top. So much cream. And even when they boil it, next day you have like golden layer on the top, just from the fat, from the butter. Just golden, so beautiful, like just to see, so beautiful. With Panda, we were living for some time there. We were drinking every night.
Yeah.
Bread, they have their own bread. They are baking. They have a bakery there. They give the bread and a nice butter and a hot milk. Oh my God. Hare Krishna. Then only problem is if you overeat, it's very difficult to get up for Mangala. But it's so tasty, you cannot stop. Like 1 cup, 2 cups, 2 breads, 4 breads. You cannot stop. Like so tasty. Milk, butter, and bread. Oh my God, you cannot stop. So it's really something very, very precious. And the most precious is why? Because it gives us opportunity to develop finer tissues to understand actually what is human life all about. That it's about making spiritual advancement. It's just not about enjoying life. That's important point. So yeah, Srila Prabhupada is giving all these important things. Shiva Shukadeva Goswami would go to a householder while he was milking a cow, and he would simply take a little quantity of it for subsistence. Even 50 years ago, no one would deprive a sadhu of a quart or 2 of milk. And every householder would give milk like water. We can just go and back, and everybody, there were so much milk. Everybody can give you milk, no problem. You want milk? Okay, milk. It's fine. Okay, so these are some things that Srila Prabhupada is giving them a little bit kind of importance. And then maybe we can read a little bit from the last purport. And I think we'll finish with this. Someone wants to read? It's a purport text to text 10 and 11. Text 11.
The text in 11.
Beginning of the
The
purport.
beginning. Oh, chastening.
No, without the verse,
Oh,
just
without-
a purport. Just moment.
Purport. When there is some disturbance caused by wild animals in a village or town, the police or others take action to kill them. Similarly, it is the duty of the government to kill at once all bad social elements, such as thieves, dacoits, and murderers. The same punishment is also due to animal killers because the animals of the state are also the praja. Praja means one who has taken birth in the state, and this includes both men and animals. Any living being who takes birth in a state has the primary right to live under the protection of the king. The jungle animals are also subject to the king, and they also have a right to live. So what to speak of domestic animals like the cows and bulls? Any living being if he terrifies another living being, is a most wretched subject, and the king should at once kill such a disturbing element. As the wild animal is killed when it creates disturbances, similarly, any man who unnecessarily kills or terrifies the jungle animals or other animals must be punished at once. By the law of the Supreme Lord, all living beings, in whatever shape they may be, are the sons of the Lord, and no one has any right to kill another animal unless it is so ordered by the codes of natural law. The tiger can kill a lower animal for his subsistence, but a man cannot kill an animal for his subsistence. That is the law of God, who has created the law that a living being subsists by eating another living being. Thus, the vegetarians are also living by eating other living beings. Therefore, the law is that one should live only by eating specific living beings, as ordained by the law of God. The Upanishad directs that one should live by the direction of the Lord and not at one's sweet will. A man can subsist on varieties of grains, fruits, and milk ordained by God, and there is no need of animal food, save and except in particular cases.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, yeah, again and again, the point is made that we
Always forget things.
we cannot make a spiritual advancement if we are performing violence towards someone else, which is not according to laws of God. So Srila Prabhupada is making, if you are part of this world, it's inevitably that you will have to perform some violence to survive. Jiva Jivasya Jivanam, Bhagavatam says. One living entity becomes the food of another. It's unavoidable. But God regulates what's your quota. Ishavasya midam sarvam, yat kincha jagatim jagat, tena tyaktena bunjitha magridakasya svidanam. We should know what is our quota, and we should not be greedy for more than this. If we become greedy for more than this, this is punishable. So then the law of karma will give us some reaction. If we're just taking only what is ordained by our quota, by the Lord, to survive in this world, there will be no reaction. So that's the law behind our sustenance in this material creation. And then if someone is breaking the law, one way how this becomes regulated is by the representative of Krishna, who should be the king, a strong ruler. And if the king is really on his spot, we will see practically that there will be no thieves, rogues. Like me and Pandava, the last time when we were coming from, not the last time, but almost the last time, when we were coming from India, we had to change our flight in Abu Dhabi, which is the Middle East. And we had to stay very long time on the airport. That was a cheap ticket, but a little bit inconvenient. But then one devotee said, wait a minute, I'll try to find, I know there are devotees there, so maybe we can arrange something for you. So basically he arranged that we go and we stay overnight in the place of these devotees, and they even next day they arrange a program for us. So it was actually very nice. We kind of get to know many of the devotees there. Very, very nice, actually. All these Middle East countries, there are big Hare Krishna communities, although they're doing their stuff illegally. But one thing that really one could appreciate in these places is because it's a monarchy. It's really like, I could see some very common features between what we read in the books and what is still going on there in these places. And because you have a monarchy and monarchy is strong, nobody dares to do crime there. And what is they were saying how hardly they hear that there is some crime. And basically People are not afraid that someone is going to steal something from them. You can just leave your car unlocked. Nobody will touch your car. So it's you can see when the government is very, very strong, all this Sri Prabhupada was saying, the rogues, the thieves, they won't dare to do much. They may exist as elements, but they will be hidden somewhere. The moment when the government becomes very, very weak, all these elements, they become prominent. So what is the government in the West at the moment? If we have so much, all kinds of crime, it shows that not so strong. Of course, there are some benefits from this, like this liberal way of acting. Like, for example, we are Hare Krishnas now, we can go out and we can do whatever we like. We can preach, we can chant Hare Krishna, we can distribute books, and okay, freedom of speech. So that's the good side. But the bad side is that many other personalities take opportunity, and not for good, not to preach Krishna consciousness, but to misuse others, to create violence, to cheat, to steal, to kill. Even so, that's the weak side. Yes.
Of course, with monarchies, it depends how the monarchy is too, if it's to the betterment of people compared with the country, you know.
Yes.
Needless.
If the monarch is a righteous religious person, he should protect the religious principles. Just in these countries, it's a little bit extreme in a sense, because they will definitely very strongly protect religious principles, but only of their religion. Like, for example, one amazing thing was to see how every, whatever, maybe 200-300 meters, every 5 minutes of walking, you have a mosque. And everybody goes to pray at least 2-3 times a day. So that was something amazing to see. Really, religious principles are false. But what about if you are another? If you are Hare Krishna, or you are Christian, or this or that? Well, then serious restrictions. Whereas the real spiritually advanced monarch, we heard he will take care of the needs of all the pragyas. Okay, you are not a Muslim, you are a Hare Krishna. Okay, I have to make sure that you have your place to do your thing. So he will make a proper arrangements. And actually, lately, the king of this place, he agreed to build the first Hindu temple there. Of course, Modi had to go and speak with him and convince him. And I'm sure there is the political side, not just the human side involved there. But one way or the other, he agreed, and he gave lots of land for a huge temple and lots of land for huge parking and this and that outside of the city. But still, he did it. So anyway, just I wanted to share how still there are such places that hardly you can see cheating going on, or rogues and thieves freely going around and doing all kinds of crazy things. I don't know if you heard about this thing. This is the last thing I'm going to say, and then we'll stop, and next time we can continue. But maybe a week or two ago, I heard from one person. He told me, do you know that today there was a big how you say, thievery? Robbery in Fulton Mall. And I said, well, what was that? And he said, but suddenly many people together, he did not say how many, but in my mind, I imagine, yeah, I imagine there were at least maybe 20 or 30 people, maybe even more. So suddenly all of them enter the mall and they start stealing from all the expensive shops. And you have security, but how many securities you have? Maybe 2, 3. What are they going to do against 30, 40 people? So they just took so many things that the owners of the shops, they said, okay, that's it, we're quitting, we are leaving. I mean, we cannot, if we don't have the security that, okay, we are going to give you taxes, but you have to protect us so that we can make money, and we will give you part of this money. If we don't have this security, why I have to stay a whole month here and pay people and invest so much in all these goods, and at the end someone will just come and steal them like that. So they just left the shops. Or at least they said they would do that. So it just a proof how if you don't have a strong government, many crazy things will be happening. That's the reality. Now, the strong government should be intelligent and should discriminate which are the bad guys and which are the good guys, and should protect the good guys. Because, like, for example, during the communistic times in Soviet Union, behind the Iron Curtain, again, the government was very, very strong. Very, very strong. Like, you couldn't hear that someone will steal something. Very, very rarely. People were not locking their cars, their homes. But they will also not give opportunity to the good stuff. Like, you cannot practice religion.
Like King Vena.
Like King Vena, yes. Like my teacher at school, she was telling me how they were asking her, she has to Saturday and Sunday stay on the entry of the church. And if some of the kids from the school comes, she has to write their names. And then she says, okay, these are the guys, they are religious. So immediately they become like a persona non grata. They cannot become a part of the party, like a second-hand citizens. So there was the strong part was good because there was no the bad elements, but also they were not giving opportunity for the people really to develop spiritually. So that's some of the problems in Kali Yuga, unfortunately. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Thank you very, very much. Next time we will continue. Shri Prabhupada ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande.